Trump's candidacy had any number of dark clouds. But are there any libertarian bright spots to look forward to amidst the storm? Let's ask tonight's party panel. It's Katherine Timpf, National Review online reporter and correspondent for the Greg Gutfeld Show on the Fox News Channel. Matt Welch is here, Reason Magazine editor-at-large, and Jamie Weinstein, he is a senior editor for Daily Caller. Welcome, everyone. How's it going?
Hi.
It's fine. Hi. It is fine. Baby, it's so fine. Looking good. All right, so let's discuss this a little bit. President-elect Trump, and he's got a number of cabinet positions to fill. We've heard a lot of names. Do you expect to see libertarians pacified by any of the names that so far he's put forth?
Well, the most libertarian candidate in the Republican Party, Rand Paul, kind of set down markers saying that he's willing to filibuster nominees he finds.
He loves filibustering.
Yeah, that are out of bounds, according to him.
Yeah.
So it does seem like Trump is looking for other possibilities for Secretary of State. Nikki Haley is visiting Donald Trump. Supposedly Mitt Romney is coming on Saturday.
Yeah.
What I think is most interesting here is that...
Do you really think he would consider Mitt Romney?
Well, this was, I think, somewhat of a test. Donald Trump has every right to appoint only loyalists. He doesn't have to appoint people that were opposed to him. If he goes beyond that and actually appoints those who are opposed to him, that will show something, I think, very good of Donald Trump. But what I really want to see is, what is Floyd Mayweather going to get? Floyd Mayweather Jr., the boxer, came to Trump Tower yesterday. So I think Secretary of Defense seems like...
The Nikki Haley one's huge, too, because she just said she's not a fan.
Yeah.
You know, Trump seems like the kind of guy who really loves either, you know, being called a wonderful savior or Hitler. He only likes passion. Not a fan. It probably bothers him more than anything.
So the fact that she was only lukewarm on his candidacy.
A lukewarm negative must have been infuriating.
You know, first she endorsed Marco Rubio and then Ted Cruz. But you are more worried about the man you term Cuddles Bolton, still having his name thrown into the soup like paprika.
You got our good friend, the president of Red Eye, to hug you on camera, and I will always remember that. I like John Bolton. He's a friendly guy. I think that he's more hawkish than what Donald Trump ran on campaign on.
Yeah.
Trump ran much more as a critic of war, especially the Bush family and the Iraq war, than anyone we'd seen in the Republican Party since Rand Paul, and Rand got beaten like a gong here. So I am worried about that. But I would point to what you said earlier, is that there are a lot of people here. We forget George W. Bush was not a deregulation president.
Yeah.
He was actually a regulation president.
And a spending president.
And a spending president, even compared to Bill Clinton, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to see here in a bunch of different agencies, transportation, education, a bunch of these things, we might see the biggest deregulatory president that we've seen in 25 or 30 years.
Since Ronald Reagan.
And I say this as someone who is not a Trump fan either.
Yeah.
But it is interesting. People who are actively hostile to the regulatory growth that we've seen in the last two presidencies are right around the transition team right now.
All right. Well, fresh off their embarrassing election losses, Democrats may have found a new strategy. Find issues in which they agree with President-elect Trump that would at the same time put him at odds with his own party. Divide and conquer, as they say. Stuff like infrastructure spending, child tax credits, paid maternity leave. But will it work? Are these campaign promises or true wedges that the Democrats are hoping to expose to give themselves a better shot at either getting the Senate majority in 2018 or not getting a total shellacking?
Well, I think they understand that Donald Trump is a conservative in the same way a marshmallow is a mammal. He doesn't have a conservative ideology. His views are kind of what he thinks, kind of what he feels at the moment, and a lot of them are liberal. And maybe his number one advisor, Jared Kushner, is a Democrat. Ivanka was a Democrat. So I don't know if this is ways to exploit Donald Trump as much as it is to pass some of their agenda through Donald Trump. And Donald Trump may need coalitions of both the left and the right to pass some of his agenda.
And interestingly, one of the most surprising coalitions may start with Bernie Sanders, who had this to say about the president-elect.
If he is consistent with his views that our trade policies have failed American workers and that we need to rethink our trade policies, yes, I will work with him.
Ah, there you go. Populism. It's going to be really expensive, isn't
Elizabeth Warren has been, he called her Pocahontas a bunch of times in the campaign trail. She's been making positive...
I called her that last night.
What a surprise.
True.
She's been playing footsie with him as well. You're going to see a lot of that. And I think, sure, the New York Times is saying this is some kind of psychic way to win back something in 2018. But Jamie's right. It's like, no, we want to pass this stuff. We like Ivanka's child care thing. When she came out with that, it was is more to the left of what any Democrat, even Hillary Clinton, has proposed for child care in this country. And she couched it in the same language, like we have to catch up with the rest of Europe and all these kinds of things. And so there's going to be a lot of Democrats who say yes. And Donald Trump is beholden to nobody in the Republican Party. Maybe Reince Priebus and a couple people, but really not that many people. So he's just going to govern with whoever's around.
Yeah, and it's going to be really interesting because if you're friendly with both John Bolton and Elizabeth Warren, I think you are, to put it mildly, unpredictable.
Yeah, well,
is that good though, Kat?
Yeah, and the New York Times said this was a shocking strategy by the Democrats, which I don't think that trying to get along with somebody that you need to do stuff is shocking. It's kind of how humans behave or should behave. You know, it's like if you don't like your teacher, you still are nice to your teacher. If you want to get a hero about it, but you'll get a bad grade. And this is even on a bigger level. This is about the country and not just their own professional lives. Theoretically, at least, is what it's supposed to be.
It may turn out to be a brilliant strategy to put people like Steve Bannon and Jeff Sessions in his cabinet and in the White House administration. He co-opts these guys if he wants to do kind of a comprehensive immigration reform that's not quite from the campaign. Well, what are they going to do? The biggest critics are maybe an attorney general and in his White House. So he's now able to maneuver without these kind of big thorns in the side.
That's really interesting because maybe, you know, by putting some of his critics in his administration, he's simultaneously giving them power and silencing them.
Yes, exactly.
Because, and that's exactly what Barack Obama did with Hillary Clinton. You know, he didn't want to have lunch with her every week, so he didn't name her his VP, and people were very upset about that, but she was Secretary of State.
Not bad.
He'd be like, see, I'm not crazy. All these people love me.
Yeah. I will let the panel return a little bit later. I'm a secret authoritarian, not so secret. Trump got elected on the Drain the Swamp ticket, so lawmakers are, of course, trying to fill it with earmarks. Come on, people. But first up, Hillary Clinton has been defeated. Yet another progressive is rising in her place. Nick Gillespie joins me to discuss the most dangerous Democrat in Washington. That's coming up next. Stay here for it. Luscious. All right, President-elect Trump won the election largely by promising to change how Washington, D.C. works. Drain the swamp, his supporters cheered. So why on earth are lawmakers on Capitol Hill pushing for a return to those dreaded, wasteful earmarks? You know, the pet projects that lawmakers cram into legislation that cost billions of your hard-earned tax dollars. Who could forget the $452 million bridge to nowhere? Or the now world-famous $500,000 study of how fast a shrimp could run on a treadmill. Turns out at 7.5 miles per hour. That is very, very fast. The party panel is back. Kat Timpf, Matt Welch, Jamie Weinstein. Welcome back, everybody.
Thanks for having us.
I've missed you all terribly. This is a great moment. So let's talk about these stupid earmarks. They are supposedly under a self-imposed earmark moratorium, yet they still managed to spend $5 billion in 2016 on earmarks thus far.
And they're going to come back. The earmark. He straight up said, well, we're waiting until it's more convenient, which is, of course, what humans do.
Yeah.
You know, you wait to eat the bagel till after the swimsuit vacation. You wait to take the 9 shots until the guy you want to think you are sane leaves the bar. You wait to tell your mom you're failing out of college till after Christmas. Everybody does it. It's not politics. Again, it's humanity.
Yeah. No, but the problem is, like, you pay for all those things.
Yeah.
Like, you're the one with the hangover and the muffin top.
Bad things that are enjoyable, you know, it's more enjoyable overall if at a time that doesn't cause the fewer problems.
How about that $125 million for the National Guard counter-drug program, which is a duplicative program from the DEA?
Here's the thing about Paul Ryan. I'm glad that he actually stopped this, at least for 2 weeks or whatever.
Dreamy Wisconsinite, right?
Yeah, when's the last time you said something positive about Paul Ryan? So there's that.
Good hair.
Paul Ryan,
he's got pretty eyes.
As soon as the Republicans took over the Senate, what did they do? They waived out of existence the debt ceiling. Yeah. Like, remember when that was a thing? Like, the debt ceiling was bad. We shouldn't raise it unless maybe we cut some long-term entitlements and that kind of business. Well, okay, that has been waived away out of existence
no one
until
wants to cut spending.
spring of 2017.
Yeah.
So yes, cool, earmarks. Let's see about a debt ceiling back on this bad boy. And we're not
Never
going
gonna
to
happen.
because Donald Trump didn't actually run at all
It's
on
going to
cutting
be
The man has gold
unrestrained.
thrones in his home.
Unrestrained, Jamie.
Honestly, none of this matters unless you do entitlement reform.
Yeah.
Give them all the earmarks they want.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, unless you're touching entitlements, what Donald Trump says he's not touching, it really doesn't matter with
He will
controlling
touch them.
spending.
He'll
And by the
increase
way-
entitlements.
And by the way, that's right. By the way, Donald Trump probably wants earmarks because when he tells Mitch McConnell, go get this bill passed, get the deal done, he doesn't care if Mitch McConnell has to do that has to go give someone a bridge to nowhere.
No, he's going to.
He just wants the deal
Mitch
done.
McConnell is going to slather it in grape jelly.
Yeah.
I think that's a euphemism. President-elect Trump's new digs might be getting a bit of an upgrade, according to Fox News contributor and former White House advisor Karl Rove. The Oval Office is in need of security updates that could take up to a year to complete. You know it's going to be twice as long. It's going to cost 3 times as much. So, will Donald Trump get his wish of being able to govern the free world from Trump Tower or his Florida Beach Club before he starts slumming at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue? He didn't want to live in the White House.
He doesn't have to go to Washington.
Music to his ears. He's like, oh, really? Oh, you have to scrap the whole thing? Oh, I know construction people. I could totally get this done quickly, but you guys go ahead and do
You
it slowly.
can't even walk, if I'm not mistaken, from here to where you live because of the Trump wing of the White House right now. I mean,
That's
those
right, because I live in
block
Trump
after
Tower
block.
in a penthouse.
That's right.
Yeah, with the Jeffersons.
But the elevator rides are pretty interesting.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, but Trump
Oh,
wants to
we
work
did-
from home.
Yeah.
You know, he's got stuff in his home that he doesn't have at his office, like his golden thrones or whatever else he has. I don't know. I have stuff.
It
I
is
like
a
working
bit
from home.
gaudy in the White House.
I
You have to
like-
be all like normal.
I know. I like working from home too. I got stuff.
What does it mean though for LaGuardia traffic, air traffic, if he's coming back like every other day to New York? When the president comes into an airport, it shuts down the airport to
No,
some
you have to shut down the space. It is a no-fly zone. I think what he would do, I'm guessing, is do they have a helipad at Trump Tower?
Yeah, I'm sure they
Throw
have
that
a
in there with the
helipad.
bowling alley?
Forget it. And remember what he said about LaGuardia. It's the best thing he said in the entire campaign is that New York airports are absolutely a lousy disgrace to humanity.
They are.
Totally true.
I've cried in them, both.
That's
Yeah, but-
unrelated to their quality.
Because you couldn't do world-class shopping?
No, stuff happens, you know.
Yes. I saw that movie with Tom Hanks where he's stuck in the airport.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Catherine Zeta-Jones.
But learns English.
And then
right?
Ross shows up with Julie.
It's an amazing story.
Sad.
I think that's a Friends reference,
Yeah,
right?
it is.
Talks to the volleyball.
Yeah, Wilson.
Yeah.
So sad. So happy to have you guys here, though.
Thank you.
Great
Thanks
way
for having
to cap off a week of fun shows with this sort of concentrated intelligence and joy. Jamie, Matt, and Kat. Oh my gosh, you guys should have your own sitcom.
Yeah.
It's Matt and Kat, Kat and Matt. Coming up, liberals have been screaming from on high that the Trump administration could be bad for gay rights. But could the opposite be true? I'm going to talk to Chris Barron of LGBT for Trump about why he thinks that Donald will be a transformative president. Ooh, kinky.